There's something wrong with the world today, but I don't know what it is. But I know that we are Blenderstyle, the show where we discuss an extreme blend of music. On this episode, Aerosmith, Get a Grip, released in 1993. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
When I was a kid, I was really into Wayne's World, and Aerosmith was in the Wayne's World 2 soundtrack. There was tons of Aerosmith videos on MTV, and it was a band that Casey and I bonded over, because my first ever CD, I had tapes before, but my actual first CD was an Aerosmith CD. I thought it was this one, Casey, Get a Grip. It was actually... I'm pretty sure it was Big Ones.
It was Get a Grip.
Was it Get a Grip?
We bought it at Rite Aid or Payless
in Taft, California.
Because we were eating lunch at Bartolo's.
And it was literally the first day I met you.
Yeah.
So I bought an Aerosmith CD.
That is honestly...
Oh, but it gets better, Nathan. Matt didn't even have a CD player.
Yeah, that's true.
So how the hell did you listen to it?
My dad was like concerned about me making friends. I met Casey and all the Schedule boys. And we convinced him that we needed to get a CD player, and he was like into like VCRs and shit like that. So he was kind of like down like right away. And I had like a 6-disc changer.
You were like, my dad was already forward thinking and had a VHS player.
No,
so he was like totally cool with me having compact discs.
It was funny because we went and bought the CD. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. We should go to your house and listen to it. Matt's like, I don't have a CD player.
I also got one of those Iowa 3-disc changers.
Yeah,
and all these things stereos were loud back in the day.
They were. But this is the thing. So I think that was like a weekday. And then the weekend I went up to Matt's house and his dad had already went to Good Guys or
Matt's
wherever.
just like rolling with the punches, you know? He's like, I'm just going to get the CD. Yeah. Worry about it later.
It was like when you go to the fridge and you get a soda out and you open it and you take a drink and you walk up to your mom and like, can I have this? It's already too late. So he went and bought the CD and he's like, Dad, I want to listen to this. His dad's like, you motherfucker.
Dad, you already spent $20. You might as well spend
1,000 more.
Yeah, how much were those?
I don't know. It was a big shelf system. I think.
I don't know. Yeah, it was legit.
5.1
Panasonic
back then, which was new at the time.
No, it was 3.1.
Was it 3.1?
Yeah, or 2.1.
So this was the first CD you played on the system, I'm guessing.
The first, yeah.
That's rad.
Get a Grip.
Put this single disc in the 6-disc changer.
And that day I bought the CD was the first day I met Casey, and we've been fucking friends ever since. So that's how I got into Aerosmith. Is we bonded over this. I'm sure I know you're familiar with Aerosmith.
I've actually never heard it.
You convinced me to buy it. Like
I did. Yeah.
Before
the selection at Payless drugstore was pretty extensive.
I think they had like a Mozart CD.
I think anyone that like really knows Casey though knows that he likes Aerosmith.
Oh yeah,
but I feel like that's just kind of like
we liked it. I think that's a generational thing too.
I think it is. I think it's something that I know your dad was kind of into it. My mom was really into it.
Hell yeah!
I mean, Aerosmith had already been around for how long?
Like 50 years, dude.
Yeah, and
since like the first album's
like more
like
100, and this is I think the top selling album for them, isn't it?
I think I read that too, worldwide maybe.
Yeah.
And I know Toys in the Attic is up there, and Pump is up there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had Pump and this one, and I think I had Permanent Vacation.
So everyone's like kind of familiar with Aerosmith, right? Did you?
Yeah, for sure.
And
not this album though.
Really?
Yeah, I'm more like Toys in the Attic.
I'm kind of amazed that you weren't, never mind, because you said you didn't get to watch MTV a lot when you were younger, because this thing was played.
This dominated MTV.
Yeah, like, I did it, but also I remember these videos, you know what I mean, and everything, like, all these singles, like, I remember everything that was huge about this album, because it was huge, like, all the singles, the videos, and everything, because, like, this is when he had like his daughter and Alicia Silverstone and shit like that.
Liv Tyler and Alicia, and like she was in 3 videos. Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah,
and Edward Furlong.
And Edward Furlong was in a video as well. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Did he die?
he's rest in peace in his career.
His career fucking died.
His alcoholism. R.I.P. Career. R.I.P. So I'm very much familiar with this, you know, like going to like Kmart because that's where we got CDs, and like seeing this even probably 10 years after it already came out.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure this is still there.
Yeah, so I was definitely familiar with it, but just not as an album as a whole.
Okay.
So they're like a classic. I wouldn't call them classic rock. It's like hard rock, right? Is this the like just
Very blues driven.
okay?
Yeah, it's very.
This is
bluesy.
clearly 90s though, like especially the intro track.
I feel like it's honestly like late 70s, early 80s, but with a 90s production.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this I
Like
think
the
they
album
classify
art-
this as like glam / rock.
I saw that
metal,
too, and I don't
Which I didn't
I
understand.
don't get that.
I don't think they knew how to like.
I do know that they voted Metal Edge readers voted album of the year in '93.
That's stupid, dude.
Well, you know who reads Metal Edge? We do.
But that's
We
like
get it for the picture.
we
I mean,
didn't-
the articles.
we didn't vote.
I feel
No,
like
I
this was
don't.
like one of the ones that like the kids and the parents bought, so it just
It was a
drove
bonding
up-
experience.
Yeah, I mean, because like the album artwork totally reeks like mom and dad trying to be cool.
Oh, this was
It's literally a cow's udder with a piercing.
this
on
was
it.
voted the worst album cover of the year,
And
when
it
came
deserves
out.
it.
Yeah, it's not a great album.
So the guy that did the album cover, Hugo Syme,
yeah,
he does like all the Rush album
and
covers.
they were surprised that he did something this shitty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think it's decent.
And he also did Megadeth Countdown to Extinction and
Mhm.
Euthanasia and a bunch of
Those
Dream
are tight.
Theater album covers. Yeah. He definitely has a style, but yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where the appeal was. It was like where father and son could get together and blast the radio.
That's true, dude.
And that like
My dad, because my
reeks-
dad was like, "Oh, I know Aerosmith."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And this
Oh.
album reeks it because it's so much fun.
It is. It's a really fun
This
album.
album
there's like
like is like just like,
1,000 bangers on this,
yeah,
dude.
it's just so
Classics.
much fun.
It starts out good.
You know, I think they like the beginning of this. I like, but at the same time, I feel like it rides the coattails of their collaboration with the Run DMC that they did. I feel like that they were kind of in the forefront when they did that, and then I feel like this kind of carried on with that, and they kind of were, hey, we did it once and it worked well, let's do it. I don't really like the intro as much as I like the rest of the album, but I
the
get where they're
intro
coming
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's dumb as hell.
It's stupid.
But I think what the Run DMC did actually was lit a fire up under him,
Oh,
and
for
it
sure.
gave him another chance. you
Oh
know?
yeah, I think
Um,
Aerosmith was kind of like one of those bands that everybody knew about, and they were kind of the pioneers of their time. But I don't think they were going anywhere before this
Like
album came out.
AC/DC, like AC/DC is a great band. I'm sure their albums are good, but no one's like talking about it.
Yeah,
This comes out like Aerosmith. You're saying Aerosmith was like approaching that.
I think they were approaching
Well,
that
Pump did
staleness. It did, but I feel like there was that staleness.
They're
around.
one of these bands that has like kept up.
I agree,
Yeah.
dude. Armageddon, man.
I
Fucking
Fuck,
Geddon.
I kinda hate that song.
Yeah, dude, I do too. But
But it really
It
makes me
was
not want to miss a
huge.
thing.
yeah, but it was huge. You
It
know what I
was.
mean?
Go, it's because it had that wall of TVs
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
playing the
because
movie.
Ben Affleck
Affleck.
carried Animal Cookie on Liv Tyler's stomach, and that's what sold that song.
Well, he was watching that part in slow motion.
Do you guys remember one of the songs being in Ace Ventura?
I don't remember that.
Lineup. It's the scene where he's like, he's
line.
looking at the
Yeah.
ring of all the players in the team to see which one has the missing diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like running behind the guy and like looking at the guy's
Totally,
dick.
yeah.
Line Up was the song that plays during that.
I wasn't aware, but then I don't really remember Ace Ventura.
I love the dude.
Yeah, it's
Cannibal
great.
Corpse.
I know. I think I've watched it like one or two times, but I didn't really remember it.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Line Up's my favorite track. What's your guys' favorite tracks?
Oof. Mine's Eat the Rich.
Such a fucking banger, bro.
Yeah.
Great way to start the album.
And I really enjoy Fever.
Okay.
Just a kick-ass want to
Yeah.
drink a beer song.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I feel like I listened to this a lot when I was a kid, and the MTV songs got shoved down my throat. And so when I was going back and listening to this, I was kind of like, oh, I remember this, but then there are a lot of the songs that, because I think when Matt got this album, we were kind of that peak of our musical like discovery stage. Like we were going out of that what our parents listened to stage and into trying to find our own thing. And so he got this album, we listened to it a few times, but then we started discovering other stuff, and this kind of went on the back burner.
100%, yeah.
And so like we might have listened to the whole album a couple times, but not really in the peak of our like memory period of music. And so when I listened to this, I was surprised at how much good stuff is on here, better than the stuff that was on MTV. And I agree with you. Line Up, Fever, Flesh.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
Flesh is good.
Shut Up and Dance.
Yeah,
that was on the Wayne's World too.
That was a pretty big single for them.
Yeah, but I just feel like those were the better songs. Like I listened to the ones that they had the MTV videos for, and I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, when I re-listened to this, I'm not waiting for Cryin. I skipped that one. And Amazing, because I've already heard them a bunch of times. Living on the Edge is still good.
See, that was always my weakest one.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like Aerosmith's like Under the Bridge.
I definitely think that this album has some bangers, some tracks that I'll always go to now. But also there's songs on here that I'm like, I don't think anyone gave them any direction. I'm pretty sure they just went in there, jammed some stuff out, and this guy was like, skip out, deep bat beat over it, and they called it good. Like, I definitely think there's some stuff that was really thought out and really put together. The songwriting is really great, and they probably got help with a producer. And then some of this stuff, it feels like it's kind of just flushed out stuff that they were just trying to get out, and then they kind of put it together. That's just how it feels to me.
No, and I kind of think you're validated because there's a lot of guest musicians on this and a lot of guest collaboration on here.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz, Jim Valance, Desmond Child,
Don Henley, dude.
Yeah. Like tons of
I didn't even know that.
I didn't either
because they don't stick out. Like Lenny Kravitz, you should be able to. Yeah.
But the fact that they used all these different people to come in, like help flesh out these songs,
it's kind of fat.
It makes it, I think you're saying, like disconnected. Like there's no continuous flow for this album. It's it misses, like it goes all over the place and kind of leaves you for a curveball. But then like there's some really great guitar playing and stuff, and some really great instrumentation.
They're not terrible songs, but
there's some really groovy bass lines and things like that too.
There's like 14 tracks, right?
Yeah.
And it's over an hour.
Exactly.
So when they originally recorded this, I read this on the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
They originally had 12 tracks.
And the record company was like, no, we don't think there's a radio friendly. And there's no like connection. Yeah.
So this is exactly what I'm saying.
And they also wrote like 10 B-sides for this. Yeah. So they're just
more than that. But yeah, exactly. There's like still songs they released in.
But a lot of it is like this guy. Like you brought up AC/DC and Angus Young. Everyone's like, oh, he's got the same riff over and over. Yes, but those are some hard ass riffs.
Oh yeah.
This just sounds like I get it, but I feel like this is just all muscle memory for this guy.
I feel like Joe Perry's such a good guitar
like they're
player,
phoning
though.
it in.
Yeah. Totally.
But I feel like maybe that's the same thing. Like if you look at Slash's stuff, like it looks simple because he's so good at it. Because I think Joe Perry's really fucking good at what he does.
I'm not taking away from him as a guitar player.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. There are some rhythm sections that are just kind of repetitive. But I always feel like the lead's always doing something different on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great guitar playing, but even though it's good, like guitar playing, it's like still muscle. He's like that good. His muscle memory.
I guarantee you, he doesn't play some of these songs exactly the same every night. I guarantee you, because he's just like, and because he can though, right?
Yeah,
he can do it and pull it off. I get that, but I also feel like they're like, oh hey, we need another track. The record label was. It's like, some bands are like, fuck, like what are we gonna do? And he's over here like, we
can't put those two cuts
We're gonna do what we always do. Get the Skid Scott guy in here.
But this does sound
throw
like
a few scarves on him and we're good.
There is a progression from this album, from the previous album to this one.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely forward.
So they wrote all these songs. They all kind of sound. There's some variety here, but there's a consistency to it too.
Yeah, and I agree with that. There's a lot of like variety, but the variety is always something like the percussion and the beat and everything is pretty similar through everything. The only thing that really changes is that lead guitar stuff.
Yeah, the
and
drums are
vocal
fine.
patterns. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's a couple songs that you're like, oh, that's a really cool beat, but it's nothing that you're gonna be like, oh,
This is kind of like what drummers did then, though,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You got to think this is like an older band playing in the new. I guarantee you, before they dropped this, they were nervous as shit. Probably, they were like,
probably.
"Are we gonna?" They did not realize it was gonna connect with a younger crowd. You know what I mean?
Oh,
for sure.
I think they were hoping. The
They were
record
definitely,
label was
but
hoping.
also like this is when like a surge of this stuff was going on. Like you had people like Pauly Shore that was like, yeah, stoner dude. You know, you had people, and like it started to kind of like the hippie, kind of stuff was kind of coming back when this came out,
Mhm.
and I think it just hit
well,
so well. And
the record label and the support behind the album helped a lot because they had Alicia Silverstone in 3 videos.
yeah,
dude.
but they were nobodies. Well, she was
in Clueless,
yeah.
right? Just getting ready to blow up, and then they put Aerosmith in Wayne's World too. You know what I mean? So they're like, and there's like a dude. Those videos played constantly.
But did they put Aerosmith in Wayne's World because they were the cheapest band they could get back in the time?
No, because I think that's kind of what was Wayne's like Aerosmith is. That's what I'm saying. Like music was kind of going in that direction.
They were trying to do that with lots of bands, dude. Remember when they Meatloaf had that song?
Which one? The Anything for Love?
Anything?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
that was before this though.
But they were trying to make Meatloaf relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
With this, like,
or Mary Jane's Last Dance.
yeah, when they tried to make Tom Petty.
Petty.
Well,
So they were trying
we're
it with
getting
like
in
all
there.
these like old rockers and whatnot, all these older bands. I feels like, and Aerosmith just has done it more than once,
yeah, for sure.
and this album was one of them. With that said, what would you rate this, Nathan?
I rate this a 3.8. I think it's a really fun record. I think it gets a little stale in the middle, but for the most part, this is fun. I'll play songs, having friends over and stuff, having a few beers. So 3.8.
Sweet, Casey.
So I gave it 4.8. I think this, coming back to this and discovering the songs that I didn't really remember or pay much attention to back in the day, really kind of like made it feel fresh to me. But also like, I think my appreciation for music and like the guitar playing and the tempos and the vocal patterns and things has matured. I'm with you guys both. Like the ones that were on the radio, I'm not as interested in anymore. I feel like they're kind of played out. But like I kept catching myself going back to this and just like it was fun. It was exciting.
I play this album a lot now.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much
Hooks for sure.
Well, yeah, hooks, but also how much I didn't give it a chance back in the day, I think. So yeah, 4.8.
I give Aerosmith Get a Grip a 4.5 out of 5. I'm probably underrating it, but like after listening to it over and over again, it does get kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of predictable.
It is.
But you cannot deny some of the fucking amazing badass songs.
Bangers, bro.
Bangers,
Oh, yeah.
classics. I can sing along to it, which I don't even know lyrics for most songs.
You're like, I know the tempo for this thing.
Yeah, dude, it's just, it's a great album. Just, it's like too long though. And
Oh
like,
yeah, that's the one thing that
they
bugs
could
me.
cut like,
I feel like the intro could be cut off and then everything out that hidden track and that stuff at the
yeah.
end. I'm just like, dude, I don't.
if they made this 40 minutes, 45 minutes,
Yeah.
bro.
I would like to, because I didn't research it too much, but I'd like to see what songs the record company had them add to it.
I tried to find it. I couldn't.
Yeah, and I didn't really dig into it, but
Probably
I kind
all
of
the
just
hits.
glanced
Right,
over it.
right. That's
And that's why you can't find it. They're like, this cannot be released.
Just because I feel like 2 songs less than this would probably be a good length, but were they 2 of the better songs on here?
yeah. I think this could be like 10 or 11 tracks.
Yeah.
They could cut some stuff out
I
of
mean,
here.
obviously they could cut Boogeyman. It's an instrumental.
Yeah, Boogeyman, even though it's kind of cool. So you guys like Fever and Flesh? I don't like those ones as much.
Fever's all right. It's not
Flesh
the best
is
one.
good.
Walk
Flesh
on
is
Down's
good.
kind of boring.
Yeah,
None of
Walk
these
on
are really
Down's
that
alright.
bad.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, like I
super
don't think you
bad.
could like say there was a bad track except for the intro.
That was Aerosmith, Get a Grip. We are Blenderstyle. Let us know what else we should listen to.
So, from all of us at Blenderstyle to all of you out there, wherever you are, remember, the light at the end of the tunnel, it may be you. Good night.